When we need to redirect our user from one route to another, we can use the redirect component from React Router. When we render this React component, it will navigate to a new location. In other words, the new location will override the current one in the history stack, like server-side redirects do, unless we set the push prop to true on the redirect component. Speaking of props, let's see what properties this component supports. First, it accepts a from prop to specify the path from where we want to redirect. As we will see, this prop is optional. Then we have the to prop, much like for the link component, to specify the path to redirect to. It can be a string or an object. Next, we have the exact and the string props to match the from path exactly and strictly with a string slash. And finally, we can set the push property to push the new location onto the history stack instead of replacing the current one. So let's take a look at some code now so we can see how this actually works. If we click the contact link in our application, we are rendering the 404 page because we haven't defined this route inside our app. So the catch-all route is fired and renders. Let's actually change that and define a rule to redirect the user back to the home page if it navigates to the /contact page. For that, we'll need the redirect from React Router. So let's import it at the top of our file. Then we can simply render it beside the other routes, set from to /contact, and the to prop to /. So now, every time the current URL matches /contact, we'll redirect to the /route, which is defined just below. So if I save my file and I visit the /contact route, I'm redirected back to the home page as expected. Let's actually remove this redirect rule and create a more concrete example. Usually, when a user navigates to a route that does not exist, we want to redirect him to a /404 URL and render the 404 page. So we could refactor our catch-all route and set the path to /404 so that we only render the 404 page if it matches this path. And then, below that, we can define a redirect route to /404. Note that I'm not setting the from property to catch all URLs that don't match the routes defined above it. So my redirect component is now working as my catch-all route. It redirects the user to the /404 route if no route has matched the current URL, so that the URL is updated to /404 and the corresponding route matches and render the 404 page. Let's see that in action. So if I navigate to blog or about, it's working fine as we render the corresponding page as expected. And if I go to the /contact route that does not match any route in our application, I get redirected to the /404 page by our redirect component.